Okay, Assalamualaikum. So today we are going to continue with the chapter 2.3, which is in chapter, this one for iron carbide system. So basically in this chapter, it is a continuation from chapter 2.2, where chapter 2.2, okay, we are learning about the phase diagrams. There are few types of phase diagrams. And chapter 2.3, we are going to learn about the specific phase diagram, which is the phase diagram for iron carbide system. Okay. So by the end of this chapter, okay, students should be able to sketch and label the iron carbide phase diagram up to the eutectic isotherm, and specify whether the alloy is hypo-eutectoid or hyper-eutectoid. Identify the pro-eutectoid phase, and explain the development of microstructure, and compute the relative amount of perlite and pro-eutectoid phase. So basically, in this chapter, we are going to learn about the phase diagram of iron carbide. Okay, and then what you should know by the end of this chapter is just like what we have learned from phase diagram, which is we have to know the phase diagram itself. Okay, and then we have to know what is the region involved. Okay, in this phase diagram, we are going to learn about the hypo-eutectoid and hyper-eutectoid. So little bit of recap from chapter 2.2. We have learned about hypo and hyper-eutectic. So but in this chapter, we are going to learn about hypo and hyper-eutectoid. And then, like similar as in chapter 2.2, we are going to learn on what is the microstructure exists. Okay, at a certain region, at a certain point. Okay, and then we have to also apply rules 1, rules 2, and rules 3 in this chapter. Okay, so basically these are the iron carbide phase diagram. Okay, so what happened is when we are adding the carbon into ferrum, okay, remember phase diagram ni is the process of making an alloy. Okay, where we are going to mix A plus B to make it an alloy. So but in this chapter iron carbide, so we know that A this will be the ferrum and B will be carbon. Okay, so what happened when we are adding carbon into ferrum to make an alloy? Okay, it will introduce various types of steel and cast iron, which are represented by the iron carbide phase diagram. Okay, so this phase diagram will be specifically for iron carbide phase diagram. Okay, meaning that this phase diagram will not change. For iron carbide phase diagram, ni lah satu-satunya dia punya phase diagram. Okay, so from here we can see that, okay, it basically looks similar as limited solution phase diagram. Okay, and then but now, okay, because it is specifically for iron and carbon, iron carbide phase diagram, so we should also realize or aware that all of these terms will also be fixed. Okay, so from here at this region, at the purple region here we have, at the green region here we have all liquid, and then here we have gamma plus liquid, and this one is liquid plus cementite, Fe3C, this one is for cementite. Okay, and then at here gamma ni is we call it as austenite. Okay, and then here we have gamma plus cementite, and then here we have alpha plus cementite, or this one we call as perlite. Okay, this I will be explain later in details. This one we have alpha plus gamma. So bear in mind that all of these term will be fixed. Okay, you cannot suddenly, the question also cannot be suddenly here is gamma only, no cementite. No, it will be very specific because now we are learning about the phase diagram for iron carbide. Okay, and then bear in mind too that all of the point and all of this point will also be fixed. Here we can see that 0.76, so this one will be 0.76. Here we have 4.3, so at A the composition of carbon will be 4.3. It will be very fixed. Okay, and then here we can see that the carbon percentage is until 0, is from 0 until 6.7. So it's actually can be until 100%, but for your syllabus we are only going to learn about from 0 percentage of carbon until 6.7 weight percentage of carbon. Okay, okay. So here is the similar phase diagram as what I have shown earlier. Okay, we can see that this one is austenite gamma. This one we have liquid. Okay, this one we have gamma plus liquid. Here we have gamma plus cementite. Okay, at the region at the end of this at 6.7, this will be all cementite. Fe3C. Okay, and then here alpha here is referring to ferrite. And then when alpha plus cementite, it will become perlite. Okay, so please remember about the terms. Not remember, memorize the term. Okay.